Hello. There we go. I sincerely doubt anyone's gonna show up, which is totally fine. It's just I am sick and I'm getting annoyed about trying to figure out how I'm gonna do my literature review because it's just feels overwhelming and I'm sick and I don't know why I'm trying to work because it's Sunday and no one works on a Sunday, so I really don't know what I'm playing at. But anyway, I couldn't focus on anything. So I thought to myself, well, hello, Spooky. Hi. I'm so glad you're here. I know this happened so quickly, but hello. I know I'm very early. I was trying to do some, I sound great. I sound like, I don't know, a sexy man or something. Anyway, work's just not going very well. And I don't know why I even bothered trying to work because it's a Sunday and no one ever works on a Sunday. So it was completely pointless. But anyway, the plan is I'm going to attempt at felting because I've never done felting before. And if that fails, then what we're going to do is relocate to the floor so that I can work on the pile. So this stream may end up actually being a lot longer than usual. And hopefully, was it your favorite episode that's this week, or was that Blackbird? I can't remember. I remember one of you was very excited for 165. Yes. So at least you're here, and I don't feel bad. But again, I would have watched it again. Hi, Blackbird. The floor is objectively the best place for crafts. I agree with you. However, given felting is using straight up just fabric and fiber, I have a feeling it would integrate with my floor. And I don't want that. So instead, I can still see the work I was trying to do on my other screen and it's making me sad. So I'm removing it. Okay. So this stream might be longer than usual. So we may end up watching a little bit more than usual. But essentially, I'm feeling a bit useless. So we're going to do crafts instead. I think this will be a lot more interesting if you can see my hands. So again, we're gonna wee and then wee, and hopefully that's good. I'm already as low as I can go. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry, Blackbird. I'm okay. I like how my voice sounds at least, so I've got that going for me. My voice sounds so fucking sexy. I sound like I'm about to lay down the law. Anyway, yeah, so today we are felting a penguin to get in the Christmas spirit. That's actually not the reason. The reason is I remembered that I owned this and it was calling to me today. So we're going to be felting for the first time together, you and I, us and whoever else manages to show up at this incredibly early hour. Now, it says that I require a foam working surface. I don't have one of those. So we are simply going to use the mouse mat, and hopefully this is foamy enough for our requirements. I Is felt, yes. Yes, that is exactly it. So this is what I have. And then these are needles. I might have to do some sort of disclosure, like don't use needles without an adult. Even though I've already said that this stream is not for children, you know. I just don't want to get in trouble. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. Because my head is gooey as frick today. So this is yeah. I words hard, and my body hurts, and my chest really hurts, and my throat hurts, and yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. I hope you're excited. Oh god. Okay. Wait. Oh shit, that's too far. If I do like that and then yeah, and then you can kind of still see me. I can kind of come down and be like, hello. You can just see my massive forehead. Sick and delirious is the best way to I agree, Spooky. I honestly I think this one's gonna be one for the books, you know. This is gonna go down as one of the most chaotic because I'm so not here right now. I don't know why I've been getting so sick this year, but I'm kind of fed up with it. I'm used to not getting sick very much at all. And then this year it's just been like constant things. I should put like a warning for Marie, be like lots of nose and mouth sounds because I'm fucking sick. Because Marie does not like mouth sounds or just like body sounds. And I'm going to be coughing and sniffing up a storm. So I will do my best to warn in advance before that shit so that Marie can like block her ears or something. But yeah. So anyway, enough edging. Spooky, I think Spooky may actually vibrate out of their chair if I don't start playing 165 soon. I can tell that they're playing it cool. I can tell you're playing it cool, Spooky. You're trying to be like, ah, but you really want me to play 165, I feel. So, ooh. Oh shit, I actually pressed it. Okay. What? No, what are you even talking about? That's so funny. Okay. I don't even know where it's meant to start. I'm very confused. Let's just.
That's maeltopia.com and show them just how much you appreciate them supporting the Magnus Archives.
Yes, Martin. Anything for you, Martin. I'm so normal, me when I lie. Also, my laugh is going to sound absolutely feral this time as well because of the fact that I've got such a bad throat. I do love this episode. It's so different. Ooh, okay. Well, that's a very strange way to describe an episode. So I am now intrigued about how exactly this is different. I'm so... That's really funny. All right, you spooky bitch. Where's my boy saying the Magnus Archives? Oh shit, there he is.
Magnus Archives.
I'm actually losing my fucking mind right now, bro. Why was that? I was like, where's my man saying Rusty Quill? And he fucking started saying it, and I got jump scared. I'm so sick.
Episode 165.
Once again, Johnny directly hears you.
Revolution.
It really is terrifying how much he seems to just know what I'm saying. Alright, now the first challenge is to try and open this fucking thing, which has the needles inside. Slowly but surely. It's like these weird fucking dots. Oh my god. Okay.
Wow. I told you. I mean, yeah, but when you said big. I meant big. Yeah, but, I mean, how big is it actually?
I'm too fucking ill for this kind of bullshit, you gay bastards. No. I am pissing and crying right now. I can't deal with this. The viruses in my body are just having a fucking party, and y'all are talking about an unknown object and how big it is. I am no. Oh, okay, I'm fine. Marie, block your nose. Block your ears. I'm alive. Okay. Whew. That was fun. I got like 0 oxygen for like 30 seconds there. Okay.
It doesn't really work like that. Yeah, figures. If you tried to measure the diameter, it'd probably only be a half mile or so.
Oh shit.
But the curve doesn't work quite right. If you stayed at the same spot, just hopped on a horse or let it carry you round, it might be days before you pass the same spot. Or you might never see the same spot again. Exactly. Yeah. I think I'm starting to get it. Good.
Good job, Martin.
You said we needed to go through these places.
Right. Right, so I need to split off about 1/3 of the grey wall, set it aside, leaving a piece about Wait, what? Oh shit, it's like a tube. Oh shit. Oh, it's interesting. Okay, I need a ruler. Conveniently, I have one of those. Sorry, we will continue in a second, but I don't want to talk over it. And I feel like at the start, I need some patience. I'm sorry, Spooky. I know this is like edging play, and I am aware that that is a little bit, that is not what I promote on this channel. Marie, block your ears. All right. Okay, 30 centimeters. This spit right here, 30 centimeters. So how do I just no, either I'm really fucking weak or that's not how I'm supposed to split them. Do I like cut it? No, it says split the wall by gently easing it apart. It doesn't want to. If I'm any gentler, it's not gonna. Bro. I feel dumb as hell right now. Right, let's just play it whilst I figure this shit out.
Is that even gonna work here? We need to go through them metaphorically. Psychologically, we need to experience them. You think we could get that experience just walking along the edge? Because I really don't like the look of those riders. Would you believe me if I said they were the victims? At this point, I'm not even surprised. Either way, best not to actually
I am a
climb
god.
onto the thing if we could help it.
I am a god amongst men. I did it. I gently split it. Yeah. Would we say this is about, I think this is about a third. Woo, I'm so delirious. I didn't even fucking notice. I just thought that was my own head. I fully thought I was just hallucinating. I was like, it's fine. Oh, Lord. So I'm guessing they're about to Calliope. That's such a funny way to pronounce it. I love that. So they need to experience all the horrors. Oh shit, I feel like I missed some cute moments because I was so invested in trying to split the fucking wall. Let's just go back a little bit.
But you said we needed to go through these places. Is that even going to work here? We need to go through them metaphorically. Psychologically, we need to experience them. You think we could get that experience just walking along the edge?
I appreciate, Maria, I appreciate the tone thing. However, I can't remember if S means serious or sarcasm. So, must speak. Right. Okay. Thank you. Because I was legitimately about to start explaining it. Not in a mean way, but in a I'm just happy to explain anything. I think at one point I've told you this. When Lom first came round to my house, they pointed at something on, what's that? And I was like, it's just a window. And they were like, but it's open weird. And I then went on to explain windows in a totally, like, just no judgment, just very happy to explain windows. Maria, click block. And they were like, no, I mean, thank you. Yes, that is, yeah, you're correct, Spooky, thank you. And Lon was like, no, I know what a window is, Rose, but thank you for explaining. No, I meant that piece of glass. And I was like, oh, that thing. And yeah, that basically sums up me. John must speak the horrors. The world is a Discord user, and John is the vent channel. That's fucking funny.
Because I really don't like the look of those riders. Would you believe me if I said they were the victims?
Oh, right, so it's a merry-go-round.
I'm not even surprised. Either way, best not to actually climb onto the thing if we could help it. Fine by me. Never really liked merry-go-round.
Split off a third of the grey wall, set it aside, leaving a piece about 30 centimeters long. Well, this is longer than 30 centimeters, but at this point, I really don't know what else to do. Roll, you know what? I'm going to split off a little more. Like a day. You merge back with your brother. This is a very weird sensation. I'll be honest with you. My hands don't feel clean enough to be dealing with like straight up fiber, but they are clean. I don't know how to explain it. Maria. Good. You, as tightly as you can, into a cylinder about 6 centimeters wide. Well, this is about 5 centimeters wide, but if I'm being real with you, the idea of this being a smaller penguin is fucking adorable to me. So we'll do with that.
Anyway, no?
Got to tightly
gone on any recently?
roll it.
What? No, I don't think so. Not since I was a kid. I actually, there's one at London Zoo. Was one at London Zoo. Big old thing. Went quite fast, actually. Surprisingly thrilling. What? Seriously? It was years back, before the Institute. I was in a weird place. Had a good time, though.
That's so cute. I love them.
I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to ride this one. We've got quite enough thrills already. Are you sure? I could speak to an attendant. I would advise against doing that. So you said the riders were the victims? Where's the monster? I'm hoping if we're quick we can avoid her notice. John, please don't tell me there's an evil clown doll down there, because... No, Nicola died with the unknowing. It's, an old friend.
This is as tight as I can do it.
Oh, yeah. I'd really...
Right. Now, it's suggested to me that I always stab in and out in the same angle, which I think is true. These look like murder weapons. The hook at the end is very disconcerting. Hold against the foam and start to stab into the wall. Turn the piece often, stabbing on all sides and into the end to help shape it, to help keep the round body shape. Roll the piece between your hands, stab until it is firm and holding the shape well. Okay. Stabbing begins.
Yeah, good call. In that case, do you want to do your thing now then, before we start moving? Are we close enough? Yes. Yes, I think so.
I think I'm doing this right.
Good idea. Thanks. You might want to take a bit of a walk. This feels like a strange one. What does strange mean with something like this? Don't think you want to know. Good point. Okay, well, good luck. I'll be, over there.
Guys, I think I'm doing it. I think I'm stabbing effectively.
Your face is not your face, is not your face. Around the curling carousel it twists in place to take from you and all the tattered stolen souls whose sense of me is swollen and distended into nothing.
Man's spitting straight up poetry.
Round and round it goes, and when it deigns to stop who you might be, you cannot know. So touch and feel the skin atop your skull to test the limits and extremities of where this canvas comes to rest, in robbed identities and peeling names that you would swear were never yours. The music swells through you.
Can I just say that scream was not a scream of joy? That scream did not spark joy. All right, that kid is fucking traumatized. This is surprisingly fun. It's very fun. I think it's working. Oh my God. This is really fun. Oh my God, it's getting tighter. That's so cool. Oh my God. Bro. I'm like a machine. Ain't nothing gonna stop me. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna stop.
Music vomits from you. The music calls a name that through the tears of half-grasped memories seems almost and eternally familiar. So dance to the beat of the thump of the chase of the still and plastic horse hooves, which cannot break from where they are secured by bolts and glue, an eggshell-thin reality that paints a visage of sense almost enough to tell you that the nausea that swells and pushes at the limits of your mind is incorrect. There's nothing wrong. The world in which the carousel will twirl is not the hollow hell you fear, it is the world. Just the world. A world where if you'd wish to have a name, it must be stolen, carved and pulled full bloody from the frame of others who would wish in vain to hold their selfness close. You want a face? Take it. There are so many here, and those who cannot hold them, well, whoever chose to give them such a gift must take the blame, knowing they could never keep it in a world of so much thieving strangeness. And soon enough they will forget they ever even had one. Rest assured, it's best to step the dance and keep your face secured as much as you are able.
This is the most fun I've
Just
ever had.
keep running.
Just
Your
keep
feet,
swimming,
or are they
just
the
keep
shoes with
swimming.
emptiness within, will pound upon the creaking wood of carousel top, or perhaps the only ground there's ever been, so struggle not to look behind, though can you trust your eyes to tell you quite what it might be that dogs your steps, and see the poor procession of those gory, faceless wretches who have lost possession now of all their treasured once identities to those who are now them? Like you. You tire of the chase, of course, the fire and all relentless pace of competition, reaching for a name, identity, and face that's long since worn through all reserves of hard, enduring vigor in you. Yet still you only stay a self while willing on your aching legs that feel like breaking just to keep you forward of the frenzied fray of hazy clawed who are yous.
This is some straight up slam poetry this man is spitting. Good God. Like, goddamn, man. It's impressive. I'll give him that. But this doesn't feel like a horror story. This feels like Mom never loved me, you know? This is kind of what this is feeling like. The fact that he's like he's inhaled like 3 times this entire episode so far. He's got such a funky flow. He really does. Also, it's coming to look at my tube. Can you tell it's a penguin? Oh my God, it's going to be the best penguin ever. Anyway.
So run. Just run. And listen to the music of your panicked flight from those who long to take what you have stole from those no longer worth a name. Ever onwards forward on the curling path of merry-go-round that's twisted, wound, and spinning in its harrowing sound of organ-piping circus tunes that merrily hound the steps of your escape. Could you turn a thought and burn your lead on your pursuers, an angle change, a charge now perpendicular to your intended line of best retreat, and stake it all on one last hope, your bruised feet pounding? John heard Martin doing poetry and wanted to have a go. So true. Oh my God. He got that sick beat though. I'm here going like, okay. To the edge, the boundary. Don't stop the ride, but you still want to get off. But no, for all the dreams of bounding, leaping off into the great unknown, you see the ring of broken, mewling wretches who have shown the sting that comes with such rejection of the truth, so seldom spoken, yet inside you all, that there is no way off the merry-go-round.
Oh no.
And so perhaps the twirling round that pushes all who passenger the carousel might help you stay ahead, and so you seize the rough and peeling pole of ancient wooden horse, ignore the sloughing, screaming wood that comes away in clumps, and grip the saddle. This feels like the evil cousin of the magic merry-go-round. You know, this might be just like a British thing, but way back when in the day, and I swear this isn't a fever dream, this is a real thing, there was this movie that I personally was obsessed with. And it had this guy whose entire bottom half was a spring. And he wore a sweater and he was red. And there was a merry-go-round. But Springman had like an evil brother who was cold. I don't know why he was cold, because it's not exactly like his brother was warm. It might have been a kid show. I just remember the movie personally. But anyway, the brother was cold for some fucking reason. Again, it's a little unclear to me. But he then froze the merry-go-round with children on it. So we now have children dying of hypothermia just on a merry-go-round. And there was a dog that really liked sugar cubes and a horse. I'm like 80% sure there was a horse.
There was also a rabbit, I think he was a rabbit, that had like the sickest tunes. Like he was that, he was playing that fiddle like he was in a bet with the devil, you know what I mean? Oof. And they go on like some epic quest to the snow, but I don't remember why or how they managed to go from being in a British village to the fucking Alps. I don't know how they managed that, but they did. And I don't actually remember how they resolved the problem, but they did. One of the kids nearly died of hypothermia. Zebedee! Oh my god, yes, that was his name. Yes. Why was his brother cold? Because he wasn't exactly fire. Like, I don't understand what their deal was. But either way, this feels like the twisted version of that, where it's like no one can get off the merry-go-round. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was a complete tangent, but I'm so glad I unlocked childhood memories for us all. Back to creepy merry-go-round.
Hands that should be clean, but now have never seen a day they were not caked in glue and slaked with blood of all the robberies existence deems the only way to live. Ride away. Just ride away.
What if I don't want to?
Up it goes. Down it comes. Hold fast to the joy of the rise, despise all thoughts you might descend. And in the end, protest against that fall back down to painted wooden spinning earth with all the tear streaks grasping of the mass of gasping, still unnamed oppressed.
You say that as if we're not just going up.
Higher, faster, off a painted apple.
You say that as if the merry-go-round isn't just going like that's it. That's all that happens you go round in a circle and go up and down slightly. It's a very simple mechanism. I don't know how fucking big is this merry-go-round? How high are they going? This cannot. Do they have seatbelts? Because I feel like they would have just been flung off by this point, you know. G-force would have just they would be in the war. They would have been catapulted off to Scotland. So I'm not. That is a very impressively long merry-go-round. But again, I feel like G-force would just catapult them off. There's no one left to be scared because they're all just fucking flying off. I don't know. Nothing makes any sense. I suppose that's the point. Ooh.
You think perhaps it might desire, but the frozen face is still the same, the simple cast of equine terror, framed and
Also, sorry to pause again, but I think it's really fucking funny how they now have this system where Martin just goes off and entertains himself for like 30 minutes so John can have his little theatre kid moment. Like, I think that's really what it's like. Oh, okay, you do your Eldritch. Bye, darling, love you. I'm just gonna go check out the scenery. Like, they're in perilous danger all the time, and yet he's actually like, all right, we'll just split up for like 30 minutes. It'll be fine. And somehow he manages to survive every time. That is not feasible. How is he not dead? Like, I'm sorry, but I feel like he should probably be dead if he's just alone for 30 minutes. How is he not on the carousel? John is the are we there yet kid. Mark is I need to take a supernatural word. That's good. Martin's like, can we fucking stop? And John's like, I need to take a supernatural word shit. Brilliant. Fucking iconic.
Bought in wood and plastic, bulging eyes of fear. Its pace remaining as it ever was, it does not care for coming pains as you are torn.
Every time I pause, I'm going to do it again. Every time I pause, when he starts talking again, I feel like we haven't continued off from the same sentence, which is really not doing my delirium much good. I have to say, like, I honest to God think the podcast is fucking with me because I'm so lost, but I guess given we're on a mile-long carousel, that kind of makes sense. So I ain't gonna be mad.
No. And soon.
Stop.
Neither will you.
Stop. With this episode with
Although to all is lost is more
buddy, I am holding on for dear life. The only thing that's keeping me sane is the fact that I'm stabbing felt. And do you know how weird that is? Like literally, I'm just like stab. I am driving a car when I can hardly ride a bicycle right now. That is the situation that we are in. Okay. I am confused. I am a little bit scared. I am wondering where my mum is and wondering how long it's going to take me to keep stabbing this single piece of felt. And it will probably take me forever if I keep pausing. So back to the chaos.
Yes that has been earned. For those upon this carousel who have not been you already, perhaps they know without a memory how good it is to have a face and name. It's not the same as what you had when first you climbed the brightly painted stairs, but not the worst who you have been. And as the horse drops through the air,
where did their names go?
Eager waiting thieves, you are unbowed and yes, afraid, but still
who the fuck stole their names?
And turns the world upon its gaudy axis.
Give their names back. That's rude.
Someday.
It's not yours.
The hands and fingers reach and breach the gentle veiled complacency and respite that had just been yours upon your mount's ascent, and now the wood is bent and bowed as faceless things who long to be a who pull splinters from the rot of screaming saddle and of rider. You, who feel some mask of sharp and hard identity begin its gentle fracture into jagged shards of names that you once were. I'm still Hannah, you try to scream, but are you? No. Perhaps there's some Veronica as fragments there, or Julian, or Anya, but no. You feel the last of names and who you might have been be torn away and borne towards new bodies.
Why does it feel like they stole each other's names, everyone's fighting for faces? Oh shit, that's crazy. I feel like this whole thing is just body dysmorphia as a fear. Where it's like, is that who you are though, really? Is that really your name? There are so many people and not enough identities to go around. Honestly, I'll take one for the team. I'll just identify as a blob. I'm not fussy. You know, if someone wants the name Rose and my identity, they can have it. At this point, I know very little other than stab felt, make small, firm. That's all I have now. This was a mistake. This was a bad idea.
New pages blank, determined to be people. The rotten, ragged rush of fetid fingernails that dig and push and reach around the edges of your face until they scrape against the bone in such a rough, scratched tone that rocks and echoes through the space that was your mind, and when they peel it from you, like the skin of an orange, the skin of an apple, the skin of a pig, the skin of a child, the skin of a you, then comes the briefest flash that surely now it's done so much, perhaps the pain will be somewhat lessened. There's no way it could hurt as much as you remember, but it does. And so, of course, you scream, and curses foul, obscene will tumble gut.
If I hold both needles at once, will this go twice as fast? Ooh, I am unstoppable now. Oh, yeah, I'm a god. Oh, look at that. You don't even know, bro. God, the speed. The power.
bubbled over where there once sat other people's lips, or yours now gone, and teeth that once shone yellowed ivory a crimson in the flowing sanguine flood. And as you lie in agonies and fading dreams of personhood, of knowing who you were and what that might have meant, you hear the bitter whisper of recriminating seekers who have found the treasure of their eager dreams, but see, it seems there's not enough for all. And so they fall to frantic tearing conflict, just as vicious as it was when it was bearing down on you. You lie there in the fugue of vivid pain and feel that gentle rain from violence overhead, as some fall dead, or close as this place lets you lie, for truly thus to die would be too eager an escape. And listen to the ebb and swell of slow melodic wail that well you know conducts the flowing rhythm laced into this endless, faceless dance. At last Victor breaks away in clinging heartfelt terror of his former comrades, sprinting, bold and holding to his skull the severed face that was once yours. Willing it to stick, as those who notice try to pick themselves back up and give pursuit to close the gap. Perhaps you should arise and follow on the things that once you would despise but now have joined. You are, of course, a faceless thing as well, and so should quickly march the pace of those who chase the selfsame prey. But now it is too late, they've gone. Their chase will not abate until their former friend is ripped apart in turn. And you have learned to wait. For there are many faces out upon the carousel, and many names that you might be. So bide your time a while and wait the coming of another one whose fate and face might sit upon your grinning carmine skull. So turn with the turn of the merry-go-round and dance to its jolly old song. Who will you be with a name or three? And a stranger's face worn wrong.
Damn. That was fun.
End recording.
Go find your boy.
You're joking. I'm not. Was it any good? What do you mean? Was it a good poem? I don't know. No. You're the poetry expert, Martin, not me. Did it stir any feeling in you? Yes. Nausea. Because of the horrible things in it. Not quite what I don't know what you mean, Martin. I'm not a poetry person. I don't get it. I never have. That's fine. I understand. Look, I'm better than I was. I used to think all poetry was bad. Sorry, what? I mean, I sort of thought it was pointless. Just write some prose and stop wasting everyone's time.
Damn.
What changed? I don't know. I just bellowed on it, I suppose.
Nah, you know what fucking changed, you little simp. You fell in love. You fell in love with the poetry man. That's what changed, you little simpy bitch.
Weird. In my defense, there is a lot of bad poetry out there. I guess. I kind of want to hear that tape now, see how artistic the stranger actually is. Or just look up, see it for yourself. No thanks. I'm trying to avoid thinking about it, actually. Of course. Sorry. How much further? I think we're past the worst of... What? She's here.
My dearest Polly, get back. I can't believe you decide to pass through my neighborhood and not say hello to dear old Sash.
Just ignore it.
No! No! Bitch! Nasha has returned again? Oh, I can't be... Absolutely the fuck not. Over my fucking penguin? You're seriously going to... Nasha is going to talk right in front of my penguin. Really? Really? Boy!
Oh, you wound me, Archivist. And we used to be so close.
I have nothing to say to you.
Nothing to say? Well, you crush me, bury me in the foundations of your little temple for a year, and now you have nothing to say.
Hang on, this feels like it's going to be an important bit, so I'm gonna raise this temporarily because I feel like my reactions are probably more important than the felting.
Hey, Lightman did that. Peter released you. All I've done to you is to not die.
No, and I would say that is quite rude enough.
Yeah, how
Leave us
fucking dare
alone.
you?
I won't warn you again.
What if I let you choose this time? Which one of you would I wear next? Martin looks very comfortable, positively roomy. Or wouldn't you agree, Archivist?
John, do we
Fucking
need to run?
rude.
Oh,
You just fat shame my boy. These hands are raid E for everyone. I'll beat your ass up. I don't give a shit, brother. Damn.
yes, Martin, you very much do. I'll even give you a head start.
John, you're bold. I'll give you that.
Last chance.
Desperate for one last morsel of terror from us. A final sip and then we're gone. Somehow we managed to keep just ahead of you and get away. God forbid you actually catch us. Doesn't bear thinking about.
John, what are you talking about?
She can't touch us. We're so far beyond her now. She's just like everything else here, ruled by the eye. She hates it.
Well, of course you want to wallow in my shame like your voyeur master. Do you know how it feels to be anonymous, yet known? To have all the sweetest dread I can create tainted by the relentless gaze of that damned eye. But I've suffered enough.
Pathetic.
Damn.
Martin, let's go.
Not a
You lost connection. We'll wait. We'll go back. I'll go back. Hang on. I'll go back to when Nasha showed up. Spooky, you just let me know when you're back. Okay, I'm back. No. You don't have to watch in double time. We'll just play it again. It's cool. I mean, my reaction to Nasha won't be the same, but I don't think so far it's just been a lot of like being salty to each other.
nothing to say. Or you crush me, bury me in the foundations of your little temple for a year, and now you have nothing to say.
Lightman did that. And Peter released you. All I've done to you is to not die.
No, and I would say that is quite rude enough.
Leave us alone. I won't warn you again.
What if I let you choose this time? Which one of you would I wear next? Martin looks very comfortable, positively roomy. Or wouldn't you agree, Archivist?
John, do we need to run?
Oh, yes, Martin, you very much do. I'll even give you a head start.
John, you're bold. I'll give you that.
Last chance.
Desperate for one last morsel of terror from us. A final sip and then we're gone. Somehow we managed to keep just ahead of you and get away. God forbid you actually catch us. Doesn't bear thinking about.
John, what are you talking about?
She can't touch us. We're so far beyond her now. She's just like everything else here, ruled by the eye. She hates it.
Well, of course you want to wallow in my shame like your voyeur master. Do you know how it feels
She angry.
anonymous, yet known? To have all the sweetest dread I can create tainted by the relentless gaze of that damned eye. But I've suffered enough.
Pathetic. Martin, let's go.
Not as pathetic as your little friend when I ate her life.
What did you say?
Bro. I don't have words. That is fucking brutal. This, you're damn right, this bitch. Oh my God. This motherfucker. Not as pathetic as your little friend when I ate her life. Fuck her up good, John. Please. Oh, please.
What did you say?
I'm sorry, John.
You were wrong, you know. There is more suffering than you can ever experience. So much more. The horror of your victims, their constant, senseless agony. Feel it now. Understand it. You have drawn out so much despair, and now, finally, it's your turn. Ceaseless watcher, turn your gaze upon this wretched thing.
No! No! Please, no! Whoa! What was that?
I destroyed it. Killed her.
Are you kidding me? You obliterated her. You smoked her.
We should go.
What about the merry-go-round?
Maria. Oh my God. Turn your gaze on this wretched thing. Brother! No. John and Martin on this wretched thing. Are you kidding? You obliterated her. You smoked her. That's fucking funny. I love the way he phrased that. You smoked that bitch. We should go. What about the merry-go-round? I like that she became very unimportant very quickly. They were both like, okay, bye. Fuck you. Finally, Nasha got her portion. Bro, I have been waiting so long for that bitch to get wrecked beyond imagination. I cannot express how fucking happy I am right now. Ah, ding dong, the wicked bitch is dead. Ding dong, the wretched thing is dead. Oh, fuck you, Nasha. Maria. I'm hoping it's become abundant to Maria whenever Marie watches this, that every time I say your name, that's a sign to block your ears. Otherwise, I've just been shouting your name and then drawing your attention to my sounds, which is kind of mean. Oh my God. Okay. I'm much happier now. I'm going to be very real with you. I'm very happy. She's just gone. Nice. Very nice. I'm very pleased with this outcome. Okay.
Her gone? Is it
I
still
don't know.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to know. We need to go, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Lead on.
Yeah, go on, Martin, being the supportive boyfriend. Bro, that was fucking crazy. All right, everyone stand for the national anthem.
The Magnus
This Archives is a podcast distributed by Rusty Quill and licensed under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike 4.0 International License.
Today's episode.
Fucking get smoked. Oh, absolutely smoked, brother. You know, we may end up listening to Roots as well today because I want to finish this. I've got nothing better to do with my day. And I feel very ill. Ugh. So we might. Oh my! I'm very happy she's dead. That I feel like Hannibal when he finds out that what's his name's lips have been ripped off, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm just incredibly satisfied with this outcome." He's like, "I'm sorry, but his misfortune has put me in a really good mood." I feel that. Oh my god, I'm very happy. So yeah, that's why that's my favorite episode. Also funky flow, but mostly Nashy getting wiped from existence. Honestly, that's a very good reason for something to be your favorite episode. To have like the person you dislike the most suddenly be eviscerated. I totally feel that. All right. Okay. On to the worms. Every time I see the worms, it reminds me of that song, and I can't say her name, but the world is burning, I got worms in my brain, gonna bleach my eyebrows, change my name. You know the one. If you don't, I'll find the things to it in a minute. But time for the worms.
Hi.
I am a bit.
The first season follows
sweet
Jane
Jesus!
Silver,
Given weirdly, I forgot going into this that Nasha was smote. I only remembered the poetry. I mean, the poetry does slap. The poetry was kind of a vibe. I was here for it. I mean, I don't like The Stranger, but Stranger's got some beats. I'm saying it how it is, you know. All right. I have memorized like half the lines just by listening to it over and over. That's very cool. I like that. Oh my god. Where is the fucking top of this? Bro. Okay.
Episode 100.
It took me way too long to find that. Nice.
66. The Worms.
Step. It's still just a fucking tube. I've made very little progress.
So, are we going to talk about it?
Nope.
What's to talk about? What happened back there? What you did to
Nasha.
Go on. Say it. What you did to that thing. I killed it. I finally have the power, so I killed it.
Nice.
Yeah, but like how? I'm sorry, I just don't understand what actually happened. It's hard to put into words. Look, can we talk about it later? We're coming to a domain of the buried, and I would really rather...
Oh.
Did you look down, Martin? Oh. Wait, what?
Yes, they do. I'm not a felter, and this is what they gave me. So I work with what I've got. At one point, I thought I had something that had like a lot of needles in it, but I can't remember where it is or if it even exists. It might just be delirium. Speaking of my fever-ishness, I'm feeling a wee bit sweaty. There we go. Yeah, they got like professional shit.
Don't get too close. Hello, Helen.
Hello! In a better mood, are we? Feeling more secure now you've learned how to kill?
Something like that.
Will you tell me how he did it?
Martin.
He just keeps going all vague about it. Oh, goodness. You see what you've done to the poor boy, John? He's coming to me for clear answers.
Shut up.
It's very satisfying, though, isn't it? Teasing out vague information. You see why Elias got a kick out.
Shut up, John.
You're right, Martin. He is touchy.
I didn't say he was...
So an explanation from little old me. Do you mind, John?
Go right ahead.
We're all here, Martin. The stranger, the buried, the desolation, all of us. But the I still rules. All this fear is being performed for its benefit. And so there are now exactly 2 roles available in this new world of ours. The watcher and the watched. Subject and object. Those who are feared and those who are afraid. And John, well, he is part of the I, a very important part. And he is able to, shall we say, shift its focus, turn the one into the other. And for those of us whose very existence relies on being feared, well, to be turned into a victim destroys us utterly and very, very painfully.
Enough.
Yes, I suspect so.
Sure, okay. That's really not that complicated, John. I don't see why you were being so coy. Because I'm ashamed.
Oh, baby boy.
Ashamed? Yes. Ashamed of the fact that I've destroyed the world and have been rewarded for it. The fact that I can walk safe through all this horror I've created like a fucking tourist, destroying whoever I please. The fact that I enjoyed it, and the fact that there are so many others that I still want to revenge myself on.
Damn.
No, I actually think you're good on that front. What? Yeah, I think we should go for it. Get our murder on. Sorry, what?
They don't call me Martin Knife Blackwood for nothing, Mr. Sims. Man said, yeah, let's just be killers. Fuck yeah. Let's go. I fucking love Martin because with Martin, I legitimately could not tell you what's going to come out of his mouth next. Like, he truly is like a D20. I never know. Or a D100. There is so many options for things that he could say that I'm never prepared for whatever it is he's gonna spew out. I'm really never am.
This isn't like it was before. We're not talking about innocent bystanders in cafes here, John. These things they're just evil, plain and simple. And right now they're torturing and tormenting everyone. If you want to stop them and have the power to, then yeah, let's do it. Let's go full Kill Bill. Oh, Martin.
I fucking love him. Let's go full Kill Bill. Oh my god. This fucking guy has my heart, bro. He's so fucking funny. I love him. This is slowly but surely getting smaller, guys. I'm very excited. Martin King Blackwood for real.
I am so proud of you. Can I come?
No.
So that's a strong maybe then?
John, we've been close for too long. I need, you might want to take a walk.
And I'll take that as my cue. Well, I'll see you avenging angels later. Don't be strangers.
That was quite funny.
Do you need anything? Right, I'll just... Yeah, right.
Oh, Martin. I like it. I like your vibe. I agree. Let's go Kill Bill on this bitch.
Down, 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 down. Down below the earth, there was a worm. He had not always been a worm, of course, but time and tide and life had pushed him to it. His name, he dimly recalled, was Sam, and he was, as definitely always had been the case, trapped, bordered on all sides with no escape and no recourse, even in his faint and fading memories of a life that wasn't simply stone and rancid, reeking soil. He wasn't sure he'd ever known a thing that might be called freedom. Choices he had had, that's true, and certainly compared to the relentless press of all the weight and dirt now on him, the simple choice of left or right or stand or sit would now seem the most outrageous of luxuries. But at the time, there was no joy in such decisions, for though he could point his feet left, it was a rightward turn that led him to the place where he could scrape a meagre living, and while he could choose to sit, it rarely made the news any more pleasant to hear. When had the crushing pressure in his chest become literal? When had the empty promise of the horizon finally vanished completely, replaced by the pitch darkness of this forever wall of earth? Sam did not know. Time had no meaning here. There were no clocks or watches, and somewhere in his mind he was sure that the world had stopped spinning. His prison was still. Even that single, distant point of light so impossibly far above him that he had decided that it must be the sky, even that never darkened with the recognition of night. His existence was static and eternal, immutable. Sleep was only a memory, because even the prospect of unconsciousness might have made his present state slightly more bearable. Food as well, he knew, must be a thing, for he could feel the hunger, but his imagination failed to picture it. The only smell he knew was the damp and the dirt. But these things, grim and fearful as they were not unfamiliar. The aching hunger was not new, not simply a gift of the eager soil. He had flashes of an empty belly not assuaged by hands cracked and calloused from long, grim hours of labor. There was a shadow in his mind of sleepless nights spent toiling, tired and shaking, desperate for some relief from the relentless pressure that crushed the life of the man who had been Sam before he was a worm.
Oh, he's a worm now.
A worm he surely was. For what else could spasm, crawling limbless through the ground, millimetre by millimetre, making its lonely way towards some secret destination no human could understand?
This is the horror version of Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm? I just had to put that out there.
Perhaps he did still have arms or legs or the luxury of both. But down here it was impossible to tell, pressed so close together that to draw a line between a torso and a folded, bending limb was pointless. If it moves like a worm, thinks like a worm, and screams its awful agonies towards the distant, taunting sky like a worm.
I don't think worms do that, honestly.
It's obvious. Sam's pale, mottled worm flesh pressed and squeezed its way ever forward, ever upwards. Or so he hoped.
I feel like being a worm wouldn't be that bad.
The light was there. It was always there. So small and far it might have been a single pinprick in a pitch-black curtain.
There are worse
Just
things to be, I feel.
He had eyes, starved and hollow though they were. Just enough to remind him that there was such a thing as sky, that the endless open air existed. Enough to kindle in him the fear that he might never see it again. Worms don't get to see the sky. If he had slept, he would have dreamed of it, of flying through the light and unchained breeze, mocking the ground that he had always and forever escaped. Another good reason he was not allowed to sleep. Sometimes, when he bent his neck and gazed longingly upwards towards the light, he could feel something looking back, its vision stretching out and down and through the opaque mud to touch him, drinking in his panic and discomfort as he tried yet again to push himself up and out He would call then, desperately imploring the very thing that revelled in his suffering to end it. As he did so, he sometimes remembered dimly other pleas made in the open air to other forces keen to profit from his degradation. Forces of paper and ink and decimal points. But such memories are brief and gone as Sam's lungs fill once again with sod. His scream, though short, echoes up and through the rough-hewn tunnel, joined as it rises with the cries of 100 others erupting from the holes that pockmark the rotten field in a cacophony, a stomach-churning harmony of dirt-caked shrieking. Then just as quick as it begins, it is done. And the only ones who will ever hear Sam's screams are the ones who have entombed him. Can he feel the warmth from that distant spot of light? A ray of sun down there in the dark.
This feels like the horror's
The poor
poetry
man's not to know
corner,
the
to be
sun is
honest.
gone, but what now remains is to serve no other purpose than to let this wretched world be seen. A lifeless, hollow illumination barely worth the name of light. But down there in the dark and icy ground, Sam still clings hard to his dream of the sun. And the ground lets him, of course. For what true fear can exist without hope, without the belief that things might change for the better, to tug of the knowledge that they will only get worse. When he has the will, when the cold soil around him has been still and silent for long enough, Sam may once again begin his grim and painful climb, moving, squirming along by the merest fractions of a millimetre afforded by his pressing prison. He claws and digs in what might have once been fingers. The soft earth is always keen to slip away, but sometimes, just sometimes, the tips of those extremities find purchase and he pulls himself a little bit, such a tiny bit, upwards. And as he twists and crawls and wrenches himself up through the hole, in spite of the excruciating slowness, disregarding the scrapes and cuts it opens in his soft and wormly skin, Sam allows himself to dream of
I think I'd enjoy being a worm.
He has long since discarded any hope of joy, but deep down he still believes there may be a place where he does not suffer.
I think I'd be a good worm.
And after hours, days, impossible to measure weeks, maybe he has moved a meter. Even more, perhaps. And however bruised and broken his body may now be, he is closer to the sky. And nobody can take that away from him. Until the rains begin to fall. The rains fall here as they do so many places in this new world. Thick and oily drops that taste of bitter salt, torrential tears plummeting from the watching sky, thumping and squelching onto the thirsty soil in which the worms writhe painfully towards a surface that does not want them. The ground softens, shifts, and starts to slip and flow into a torrent of black mud. Deep below, Sam feels rain begin to drip upon his forehead, and he knows exactly what it means.
I promise this shirt's clean. I don't know where that stain came from.
He is so tired by his ascent that the only sound he can produce is a low, defeated wail. And as has happened so many times before in his poor, defeated life, he feels the walls begin to shift and soften as the slippery flood pushes him down, down, down.
Yeah, push that bit
Deeper
down.
perhaps than he has ever been before. So deep the light is almost gone, but never is the darkness fully complete. There must always be a distant promise of escape. Sometimes, when his despair is at its peak and the sky seems only there to mock him, Sam changes his direction. He has breathed the mud so long he has no thought of suffocation, and he pushes his face into the walls of his tunnel and starts to try and dig across. He is afraid of what he might find beyond the limits of his own constricted tunnel, but between the fear and the despair he makes his choice and digs. For
Dig,
days
dig, dig.
or weeks, he squirms and struggles through the hard-packed soil.
Oh,
reaching away
shit, I
from
remember
the
that. I
light
forgot
he
about
might
that.
never see again.
So is that all the fucking worms? It's just the worms going, ah! Because that would be really funny. It's just all the worms stop and just, ah! I can't help but make this funny. It is a fatal flaw. God, look how fucking firm this is now. Hell yeah.
What has he done? Abandoning the route that has been carved for his emergence. The panic begins to set in and he shudders and weeps slick, muddy tears of his own. But then one day Sam pushes forward and feels his face break through a wall. The earth parts and he finds himself in a tiny sliver of open air. A room, a cavern, a way out.
Hmm.
It is only as he slides inside so neatly that he realizes what it is.
What is it?
Another tunnel. For another worm.
Oh.
As he falls deeper into it, he finds himself staring at the pale and hairless face of its inhabitant. Poor Sam has no way to know his neighbour's name is Richard, that he once struggled in a life as hard and desperate as his own.
Oh, two worms in a tunnel. No feet apart because the buried likes claustrophobia.
All that matters is that this new worm is facing up. And Sam, because of how he entered the tunnel, is facing down. How do you fight when you cannot move beyond the slowest inching crawl, without limbs or weapons or the kinetic force?
Just don't fight. Work together.
You do it slowly, pressing, fighting, tearing gradually through each other until at the very end, one of you is still. There is no light, for Sam is faced away from it and blocking it from his opponent. But even were it bathed in stark illumination, no one could have said for sure where the sticky mud ended and the ragged, bloody faces began. A cloying mass of teeth and tears and torn skin as two terrified victims slowly chew through each other.
That is horrifying.
A distant hope that neither would ever be allowed to achieve. When it is done, Richard is dead, or quiet enough as makes no difference, and the tunnel belongs to Sam. It is identical to the one that he has left.
Sam asserted
in all ways
dominance.
other than that he had to do an awful thing to get it. And still he faces downwards. He rests there for days, with nothing to keep him company but the remains of his opponent, quietly mouldering, until at last he begins the gruesome task of turning around. The contortions that he undergoes, the bending and the breaking that he subjects his pale, wormish body to, is a greater pain than any he has thought possible, and the snap and pop of bone and sinew echoes to the surface far above. But at last Sam has his victory. He has claimed another tunnel, and he can see the light. Perhaps this one will be better, will let him squirm up higher. But underneath is still that lurking fear that maybe it is worse. The truth is plain enough, though, even as he fights so hard not to know it. There is no difference, and as the rains begin to fall once again, he knows the world will never let him escape the depths to which he has fallen. Better to keep him buried neatly away.
Again, I think I'd enjoy being a worm.
God, I hate the buried.
Oh shit, they really do be
And
moaning.
recording.
Can you hear them crying in the background? That's fucked up. That's really fucked up, bro. What the fuck, man? brutal. Can you hear them? It's horrifying.
I wish the apocalypse had some magazines. Actually, no. Second thoughts, probably not. Definitely not. Oh, come on, John. How long does it take to describe scary mud? Oh, okay. Sorry. Now. Seriously? A spade? Is that not kind of, I don't know, insensitive? Given where you are? Fine. For God's sake.
That's a horrible sound.
Hello?
Hello? Is that Martin?
Don't do that.
What? No stomach for games?
Well, the games aren't exactly fun for everyone, are they?
Very few games are.
Look, I'm talking to Annabelle Kane, right?
You never gave me your name, so why should I offer mine?
Just what do you want?
I want to help you, of course.
No. Thank you.
Damn.
It's a hard place to find yourself in. Maybe I can be of some assistance.
You can assist me by giving the creepy phone thing a rest.
He's more powerful here than he's ever been, isn't he? And you're not sure what that means for you.
I'm hanging up now.
Does he even need you at all?
Bye.
Don't listen to him, Martin. Don't listen to her.
I know, right?
I know, right? Is he talking to the wailing, like, buried people? Or is he talking to the fucking cassette player? Either way, that's funny as hell, because just before he went, I know, right, there was a particularly loud from the buried. So I legitimately don't know which it is. All right. Well, I'm not done with my penguin, so I guess it's just going to be a longer one. I'm a different kind of feral today. I think also I'm a little bit nervous, and I think because on Monday, Keith's coming around, and we're gonna talk about top surgery. I love that the berry just got offended at being called scary mud. For real, it was like, excuse you, okay? I am more than just scary mud. Don't fuck with me like that. But yeah, no, tomorrow Keith's coming around, and I talked to my parents about wanting top surgery again. And my mum was more for it this time than she was last time we talked about it, because she was like, I can understand, it's pretty obvious to me that you want it, but Keith is against it, mainly because he's like 70, it's not his fault. But it's mainly just like, I guess I'm just nervous for some reason, which is dumb because I know what I want, and it's not like Keith's going to be able to convince me that this isn't what I want. And it's not like he's really going to try to. I just have to explain to him why it's important to me. And he loves me enough that he'll understand, I think. But I think it's just stuck in my head. And that's also not helping with this whole not being able to do anything phase that I feel like I'm in right now. Things will be okay. That's what I need to remind myself. This literature review I'll make progress with it. Stuff with my parents will completely settle itself. It always does. I will stop being ill, so I won't feel this shit. I will eventually come up with a good way of organizing my literature review. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. It's a big change, even if, yeah. And it's also mainly that it's like, you know, there's literally no reason to worry about it because it's not exactly like he could stop me because I'm 24, you know? Aw, thank you. Squish to you too, Spooky. I like squishing. Aw, squishing. But yeah, I think that's also just, it's kind of playing on my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not actually worried about it. But do you remember when it was like your parents were like, we need to have a talk? Oh, thank you, Blackbird. Squish, squish, squish. When you were younger, your parents would be like, we need to have a talk. And it would scare the shit out of you. And you wouldn't be able to focus on anything else until you had that conversation because you were just so worried about what was going to happen. It's a bit like that, but a much milder version of it, where it's like, one, I know what the conversation is going to be about. So there's no anxiety of the unknown. Two, I know what I want and how I stand. And so there's no reason to be stressed about it because, you know, I'm not a child anymore. And so I'm allowed to make decisions for myself and my body. And three, I know that Keith loves me unconditionally, you know, and even just because he doesn't understand something doesn't take away from his love for me. And so there's no need to be anxious about it because it's probably more going to be a conversation of him needing to understand more, because to him it's a much bigger deal than it is to our generation, because the guy's like 70, you know, like this is not something he grew up with at all. And on top of that, the rest of his children, including my sisters, are all cis het people, you know, like, so I'm very much the atypical in this scenario. So this is kind of like new territory. So I completely understand why he would be a bit more adverse, but I think it's just playing in my mind a little bit. But again, it's very mild and it's not like, you know, but I think it's just, it's on my mind a little bit because I know it's going to be a conversation and it's going to be a bit of a heavy conversation and it's just a bit like, you know, but fortunately that's happening tomorrow. So, you know, I don't have to wait that long. And hell, if nothing else, today I will have done a penguin and hopefully have addressed the pile a little bit. And also, I'll be streaming, even if you know it's going to be fine, it's still tech. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, there's always the percentage of a chance that things go horribly wrong. And I just don't want that to happen. But I can also rationalize to myself that the chance of it going horribly wrong is incredibly small. And on top of that, I have my mum's support, which means, you know, at the end of the day, that's kind of all I need. If nothing else, having my mum's support is the most important thing because she's the one that helps me with a lot of the other elements of my life. So it's like, you know, but I think with Keith, it's more just explaining to him because I know for a fact that he loves me and he's not one of those people that just on principle is hateful. You know what I mean? The way I'm thinking of explaining it is that there are actually, because this is a legitimate thing. There are actually some guys, born guys, complete, you know, AMAB people who have very jiggly breasts, even if, you know, they work out all the time, they are really muscular, but for some reason they still have this kind of this like fat on their chest. Turns out some men, like it's a genetic thing, have this like mass of like permanent fat like women do on their pectorals. And so some men, you know, have surgery to have it removed because, you know, they don't want to have jiggly pecs, which is totally fair, you know. And it's like, would you tell them that they shouldn't do that because they might not want it later on. They might decide later on that they do like it. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know, it's their body and it's something about their body that makes them uncomfortable. And if they're able to have it removed, why wouldn't they, you know? So anyway, I'm way overthinking everything now. So we're just gonna, anyway, this stream's gonna be pretty long because I'm kind of just gonna be doing random stuff. I'm gonna make the penguin and then I'm probably going to tackle a bit of the pile. So you guys are very welcome to not stick around the whole time if you don't want to, or just like have me on in the background, you know, because this is going to be less of a concentrated stream than usual. So you can kind of jump in and out as and when, you know, so that feel no obligation to be here the whole time, especially if this does end up going on for a long time. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. All right, time for 167, curiosity. All right. I'm trying to think how that could possibly be scary. Curiosity killed the cat, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Oh wow, we really just.
Hi everyone.
Oh no. Oh.
Rusty Quill, episode 100.
No worries. I probably won't talk much. I'm technically at work now, but I'll still be here. All right, Spooky. That's totally valid. Yeah, don't get fired on my account, please. I can't deal with that kind of guilt.
67. Curiosity.
On the road again.
Help us with what? Excuse me? Annabelle, help us with what? Our journey, killing Elias, vanishing the entities, what? Please don't do that. Do what? Oh, right, I see, yes. Well, sorry.
Oh no, did he read his mind?
Having someone looking inside your head, you can feel it. No, but that's hardly the point, John. No, I see. Sorry. I mean, I don't want to keep secrets from you, but you should at least be able to. Basically, yeah.
Oh.
I suppose that's fair. It's weird knowing that you can know literally everything I think and feel, especially since you're not exactly the most open of people. Emotionally, I mean. Well, that's not fair. I share. Sure you do. I do. Okay, so how exactly would you describe your current emotional state regarding all of this? Go on, call it. I feel... I feel sad. Sad. Very sad.
Good job.
Very sad. Yes, all right. Point taken.
Good job, John. Well done.
You said you could control it now. I can.
I'm cleaning an office. No one's here. It'll just take longer. That's fair. That's a great job. Can I just say that's a fucking brilliant job? Literally not having to talk to anyone. You just have to click. Oh, that's the kind of job I can get behind.
I will refrain from knowing anything.
Just not having to talk to people ever.
Unless you're in danger. Physical danger. If I'm in danger of being mad at you or something, you've got to figure it out the old-fashioned way. Fine, agreed.
Man really said, I know everyone's always like, I wish you could just read my mind, but I don't care that you can figure it out like everyone else has to. That's kind of funny, I can't lie.
What did Annabelle say? She offered to help, but she didn't say what with. She asked us where we were going. I didn't tell her, but it was pretty obvious she had a good idea. Did you feel like she was influencing your mind at all? I don't think so, but I mean, who knows? I could, but look, she didn't control me into asking you not to look into my head, if that's what you're thinking. That's all. Man, I'm not looking for a loophole. Well, good, because this isn't one. Methinks the spider doth protest too much. John, joking. Joking.
That's so funny.
Do you know where she was calling from?
No. She's still hidden somewhere. I could see her voice coming down the phone line, but the closer it gets to her, the harder it is to see. Christ, this all feels so obtuse. It's like I have the power to drink the whole ocean, but I have to do it through a straw.
Yeah, that would be a bit unfortunate.
I don't know, it worries me, I guess. You know, when you do the whole curse this flesh prison thing, I get you're different. None of us are what we were, but, well, it worries me.
Oh, Martin.
Sorry, that's not... It's okay. Anyway, my flesh prison would like to stop for a bit. How far until the next domain?
A while. If you want to stop, it's as good a place as any.
No, I just need a moment. One where I'm not just relentlessly pushing forward.
All right, we can stop.
This is so slice of life. I love it. Come on, boys, show affection. You love each other. You know
Why did
you
it have to
do.
be us?
You'd rather be a bystander? Trapped in one of those places?
I don't know. No, I bet Gertrude would be able to do this, you know? She would eat a hellscape like this for breakfast.
This is true. She was a bad bitch.
Don't think she would have done very well here.
No?
No.
Do you know that?
To say that Gertrude Robinson never had a friend would not be true. She was close in her way to many people, but looking back, I wonder if she ever realized just how strongly she herself reeked of the lonely. When she first joined the archives, she took the place of a man named Angus Stacy, whose face was torn from his skull by a creature of masks and smiles. Gertrude had thought of it as the grinning wheel, and it was one of the first things to fall at the hands of the Institute's new avenger. Appropriately enough, Gertrude used fire. She had some small knowledge of the truth of things when she first took the position. Enough knowledge to be dangerous, as the old saying goes, but also enough to be cautious. And it was leaning into this second inclination that kept her alive through those first few years.
Is this like a character exploration? Because I'm so fucking down for that. Hell yeah. Let's talk about my favorite girl. Also, the body is almost done.
In the long tradition of Institute archivists, been a disappointment to the man whose eyes then sat in the smirking face of one Director Richard Mendelssohn. Angus had been too keen to learn, too ambitious in his academic legacy. He had had grand plans to revise Smirk's 14, and, in trying to do so, burned through his resources, his luck, and ultimately all but one of his assistants. When Gertrude was appointed to the role, there was a single survivor left in the archives, a woman by the name of Fiona Law.
Ooh.
Fiona was the most fascinating combination of curiosity and cowardice, pushing forward and forward into the unknown until the very first moment of threat crystallized. And then she was away. Of course, retreat is not always possible in such a line of business, and when that proved to be the case, there was a single trait which Fiona possessed that saw her surviving encounters which had killed far braver souls than her. Because when she was pushed to the very limits of her terror, Fiona Law would faint. And while there are those things in the dark that would kill you as you slept, most get no real delight from it, unless you're awake enough to know what is happening. And so, through cowardice and
Interesting.
Fiona had survived an entire generation.
So essentially, the way to survive the fears is to have narcolepsy. That feels like a mean joke. Honestly, you know, it's always the simple, like, solutions with this fucking thing, you know?
Of archivist. And even stranger, when Angus Stacy died and she had the chance to walk away, she decided to remain. She had never got deep enough into the mysteries that plagued her to slake that burning curiosity, and she never would. Alongside this inherited survivor, Gertrude would add 2 more assistants, Eric Delano and Emma Harvey. They were young, like her, keen to delve deeper into those strange secrets that back then were spoken of more openly. To them, Fiona seemed something of a joke, a middle-aged chatterbox who told stories of the Blitz and jumped to the long shadows in the corners of the archives.
Yeah, she knows better.
Emma in particular was Gertrude's confidant.
Wake up so I can scare you.
And the only other member of the Institute who ever knew of the strange bond between Gertrude and Agnes Montague. But Emma had a sickness. As much as she might have despised the aging Fiona, it was the same one that plagued her. Curiosity. That desperate, grasping need to know.
I thought you were going to say the fainting disorder,
Emma,
and I was going to say,
however,
what a
was
coincidence.
circumspect enough to recognize the danger of such inclinations in a place like the archives, and after those initial few years, settled on a question. The first question to which she would apply her methods of experimentation. Why wasn't Fiona dead yet?
Ah, yes, a normal
Experiments
thought.
were simple enough. When a statement was close enough and real enough that finding its source seemed a possibility, Emma would volunteer herself and Fiona to investigate it. Eric had always been a homebody and had no problem being left out of such expeditions, while Gertrude had far better things to do than worry about the comings and goings of her helpers, and so let her trusted Emma arrange things as she pleased.
Emma sounds like a fucking
Once
psychopath.
out near danger, Fiona would always find herself ever so slightly ahead, always seeming to be inexplicably the first through the door. And more often than not, it would close behind her. By the end, the poor woman genuinely believed spontaneously locking doors were a telltale sign of the supernatural. Emma would do her best to observe from safety, making notes, only retrieving the often unconscious Fiona when the danger passed. She watched as her poor guinea pigs stumbled through a maze of whispering grubs. She timed the intervals at which Fiona emerged from a hungry fog, and recorded her barely escaping the Sandman who came to take her eyes. Poor Fiona never suspected a thing. Decades this went on, until Fiona was old and tired. There was less chaos back then. Gertrude's war was still only kindling, and years might go by without anything terrible brushing against the Institute. But at last, they found a coffin, and it was not a place that could be escaped by fleeing or by fainting. When Emma came to tell Gertrude what had happened, she found the first of the cobwebs in her hair, the ones she would wash from it every morning for the rest of her life.
Oh shit, she became part of the web. Oh fuck, bro.
And did not suspect the truth. Eventually, Fiona was replaced by a young man named Michael. Far too young to have such a job, really, but things were different in those days. He was keen and eager, and Emma had a slightly different idea of how to test him. She never really touched Eric, of course. He had been marked early by another who Emma was keen not to cross. But young Michael, so innocent.
I was
so
right, Emma's a
naive,
fucking
She
psychopath.
decided to experiment with
Yay,
how long she could
Michael.
keep him in the dark as to what was really going on.
I kind of miss Michael, I can't
As it
lie.
turns
His
out,
voice was
All
great.
his life. This time Gertrude did have an inkling as to what was happening, but had her own escalating conflicts to concern herself with, and recognized the potential in a truly ignorant assistant. At some point, Eric disappeared. It's interesting the places that Gertrude did and did not think to look for him. She scoured the most warped and darkened corners of London, expecting any moment to find his remains. But she took Mary at her word when she said she hadn't seen him. She could have known the truth, of course, if she had wished, but it was so much easier to make it another pillar of her crusade. Emma knew what had happened, but had no interest in sharing such details. Eric was replaced by another assistant, not so young as Michael and hardened with some encounters of her own. She was eager to prove herself, and exactly the sort of person to intrigue the aging Emma. There was a fire to Sarah Carpenter, perhaps the one which led to Gertrude hiring her, and Emma's curiosity
Why does
ignited once again.
Sarah Carpenter
This
sound
time keen to
familiar?
find out exactly what it would
It might be
take
because of
to
Sabrina
break this
Carpenter,
brave
honestly.
investigator of the unknown. By this point, Gertrude was fully lost to her plots and plans and struggles, and as long as her assistants played their parts when asked, she paid them no more mind. And the frequency of genuine encounters grew as the season of hurried rituals came nearer. It wasn't hard for Emma to convince her younger colleague to take the lead in their inquiries. She took Sarah to a cave and sent her deep inside to see how far it went. There was no end, and the darkness was deeper than an absence of light would allow, but Sarah held firm to her cable, and Emma was gracious enough to pull her back into the light. She took Sarah to the woods with a strange book of astronomy and suggested she go and chart the stars. The brave stargazer stayed beneath the canopy and never quite lost herself to the cosmos, though sometimes when Emma looked into her eyes, she could still see a reflection of uncanny constellations. She
Thinking
even
the same
convinced
thing. I
Sarah to
can't
stay
remember where
inside
she's
an
come
old
up
man's
before, though.
house,
No, me neither.
desperate to see her eaten by a hungry door, but was again disappointed.
Sarah
All through it,
Carpenter is a
Gertrude
fucking
could not
legend.
see what was happening. And certainly the spider smoothed things, elided questions, wiped away evidence, but it barely had to. Far better to feed Gertrude a steady string of plans to foil and rituals to derail. Sarah's luck ran out when Gertrude and Michael were away on that last trip to a frozen island that did not exist. Emma had been given the statement of a widow, whose life and home and partner had been taken by a man who, as she put it, burned on the inside. And so Sarah and her secret tormentor went looking for this being, and they found him standing in the smoking ruin of an old farmhouse. He was bald, dressed in dreary office clothes, to a cursory examination unfit and unremarkable, save for his peculiar surroundings. If they had paused and looked closer, Emma might have seen the drizzling rain rising as steam from his skin. Sarah may have noticed the thin lines in his flesh from whence spilled a dull orange glow. But they didn't, and as was her custom, Emma allowed her old knees to betray her, falling behind her companion. Sarah Carpenter's last words were, "Hello? I'm from..." And then it was over. He split open like a flower bud blooming, and inside there was only the most terrifying heat. She had no time to run. By the time she thought to scream, it was too late as the thing enveloped her, closing tight, until she was simply more ash, trapped forever inside that charred and hollow shell. Emma knew as she ran that she might have gone too far. When Gertrude returned with no Michael to a silent archive, and only Emma's stammered lies to fill it, she finally started to suspect the truth. She wondered briefly if it was hypocrisy to feel such anger at what Emma Harvey had done when she now had blood aplenty on her hands, including Michael's.
Probably a little, but honestly, go off.
The rage she felt was ice cold. And so Gertrude went to the one person she was certain she could trust on the matter. Agnes Montague and Gertrude Robinson only ever met once in their lives. Even if the lightless flame had allowed it, what would there have been to say? The bond between them, real as it was no one's choice but the Webbs, and neither of them were keen to play its game any further than they had to. Their discussion was brief and tinged with a melancholy, an awareness of mistakes, of their choices and duties and destinies. Neither of them smiled, but Agnes did confirm what Gertrude knew, and the details of Sarah's suffering only sharpened that deep and wounded hatred. It was a trivial matter to convince the man who now watched from the skull of Elias Bouchard to allow it, so long as the deed did not take place within the archives itself. But it didn't need to. An employee's home address is a simple thing to acquire. When Emma Harvey awoke to the searing heat, she knew she was already dead. as the fire took her and left her flesh running off her bones like oil. All she willed was not to give it the satisfaction.
For real, she gets a
of being
pass.
afraid.
Gertrude's just that bitch,
I
you
wonder
know.
if it would have upset Gertrude to learn that, even at the end, Emma had no idea it was her that had arranged it. Maybe not. For all her anger, there was no thirst for revenge in the archivist. Only an eagerness to expunge an infection that had gone unnoticed for too long. And with that, Gertrude Robinson was without assistance. She never hired another. She worked with those that seemed useful until they were no longer so. Leitner, Decker, Key, even Salesa on occasion. But she never again allowed herself to trust. I'm sorry, I didn't...
No, it's okay. I couldn't not listen or interrupt, or...
I promise I didn't know I was going to do that.
I understand.
Oh, Martin's so understanding. I love
Well,
him.
let's try to avoid that next time.
Yes, quite.
He's such a good boyfriend.
So...
No, I don't think Sasha was. No, because John asked for Tim and asked for Sasha. So Sasha was not in the archives before John or Tim.
Without assistance, she'd be bad at the apocalypse?
Without trust, without a reason. Gertrude needed both the purpose her mission gave her and the control her position allowed. To be here, like us, without a reason, without someone to ground her, she'd have power, but no control, no real purpose. Perhaps she'd dedicate herself to a doomed quest like us, but no. I think this would have broken her, and she'd have resigned herself to ruling her domain.
What domain?
We all have a domain here, Martin. The place that feeds us.
Oh. Where's yours?
I mean, we're traveling towards it.
Oh, right, obviously. Duh.
No. Fucking love it. Sasha. Yes.
Would you like me?
No, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Okay.
So, if you say Gertrude wouldn't have been able to go on without a reason...
Yes, Martin, you are my reason.
Just wanted to make you say it.
Why do they have to be so fucking cute? Bro! Yes, Martin, you're my reason. Actually crying, bro.
Right.
I love them so much.
Before we do, a moment ago when you were talking,
Right.
the old archivist Angus, you said Fiona was released when he died.
Yes.
If you had died, would the others have been able to quit?
Yes. I didn't know.
If you had, would you have told them? Would that have changed what happened?
I don't know, Martin. I don't know.
Damn, that's fucking intense.
The Magnus Archives is a podcast.
Yikes. We went from a really cute moment to would you have killed yourself if it meant the rest of us could leave? Like, it's a bit of an intense shift. But you know what? Go off, King. All right, time for 168, I guess.
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives. Episode 168. Roots.
This is probably really boring to watch, but it's just because I take this very seriously. I'm gonna make the best fucking penguin ever.
Okay. Time you went for a walk.
Yeah, about that. You sure you'll be okay on your own?
I always have been.
Okay. I mean, well, I don't like this place.
Once again, Martin, that's sort of the point.
Yeah, I know, all right, I get it. It's just, it's more than that. This place, what did you call it? The rotten corpse?
The corpse roots.
Yeah, that. Well, it feels, I don't know, it feels like it's,
Waiting.
yeah, waiting. This is the one with the death guy, isn't it?
This is Oliver Banks' domain, yes.
So it's him that's waiting.
Not just him, but yes.
So are you going to smite him then? John? John, I said, are you going
I
to...
heard you the first time.
And?
I don't know.
Why not? Can't you just do what you
What
did with
did you
that
say?
Sasha thing? Make the eye see him and all that?
I could, I think.
Cool. So what's the problem then? Take another monster off the hit list. Job done.
It's not that simple.
What does that mean? What does that mean, John? What happened to Kill Bill? John, you said...
I know what I said, and I don't know, Martin. I don't think he's... I don't know. I don't think he's evil.
Oh, yeah, sure. He's probably a really kind, benevolent ruler of a hellish fear prison.
It's just... He helped me. When I was... He woke me up.
Wow, what a hero.
Martin?
What? Yeah, all right, I know. I'm sorry.
Is there something you want to talk
No,
about?
fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm sorry.
Martin don't sound fine.
Martin?
I said it's fine. Are you jealous?
Oh!
I told you not to know things about me.
I really didn't have to.
Oh!
Good, because I'm definitely not.
All right.
Look, I'm fine, all right?
You said.
Yes, I did. And even if I was jealous, I would be perfectly justified anyway, so...
But you're not.
No, I'm fine.
All right.
Good.
Good.
Great. All right, fine, yes, I am jealous, right? Yes, if you absolutely must know.
Because he woke me up.
I was there weeks and nothing. He talks to you for 5 minutes and suddenly you're back on your feet and bouncing around like a springy chicken.
That's
I mean,
really
what's so
not...
special about him that you wake up for him and not me? Enlighten.
That's not really how it worked. It wasn't... Look, Martin, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm not going to kill a man just because you're jealous.
Why not?
I fucking love this man so much. I'm not gonna kill a man because you're jealous. Why not? Oh my god. These fucking two, man. Martin King Blackwood strikes again. This man is so fucking funny.
Yeah, I know. Please.
Who knows? Maybe he'll try to stop us getting through the roots, and I'll have to. But I'm not going to seek him out. At the very least, he's earned not having me hunted.
Not him going, please. He really is exactly like that. I fucking love Martin. I also just love John being a little shit and being like, yeah, sure. You know? Yeah, you're definitely not jealous. All right, but you're not. All right. It's just like, it's just so good.
I suppose that's reasonable. Now, if you're quite done inciting me to murder, not murder, smiting. Right, yes, of course. You vomit your horrors.
I'm not sure I like that metaphor.
Puke your terrors.
Just go.
Fine, I'm going.
Not Martin being jealous. That's so fucking funny.
Report to prevent future deaths. This report is being sent to the Great Eye, that watches all who linger in terror and gorges itself on the sufferings of those under its unrelenting, stuporous gaze, and its archive, which draws knowledge of this suffering unto itself. 1. Coroner. I am Oliver Banks, sometimes known as Antonio Blake or Dr. Thomas Pritchard. I serve the coming end that waits for all and will not be ignored. 2. Coroner's legal powers. I make this report under no authority, no regulation or act of law, save the hollow power and grim responsibility given me by the termination of all life. With it I may see and spread the hidden veins of destiny that wrap us close and draw us through the empty, yearning parody of meaning that we call life, knowing at all stages that the last and final point of this journey is a blank and futile end. I have no power to stop it, and even if I did, I would not do so. For to rob a soul of death is as torturous as its inevitable coming.
I really don't mind death.
Investigation and inquest.
I've always found the death as a fear to just be kind of like a chill guy. I don't know. I like, because I kind of agree with him, you know, the whole like not being allowed to die is worse in a sense. I would agree with that to an extent, you know, because imagine at the very end of the universe, right? The earth has burnt to a crisp because of the sun. So you're not even on a planet anymore. You're just being torn apart and regenerating for the rest of time. But time isn't even a thing anymore because there's nothing. The stars are burned out. There is simply space, but space is a nothingness, and now it is just a void, and you are stuck in it, constantly dying. That is hell. I would much rather be dead at that point. You know what I mean? So I kind of get where Oliver Banks is coming from when he says all that. And to be honest, I don't hate death as a fear. Because also, the whole thing with death is that it almost doesn't push itself onto reality. It's just there. Like, it knows that eventually you're going to you're going to come to it, like you will die, because it's an inevitable fact. If you choose to be scared of that happening in your lifetime, well, that's great, but it doesn't matter because death wins in the end anyway. So it doesn't matter if you're scared of it happening or not, it's still going to happen. So I just generally don't hate Terminus as a fear entity. Yeah, exactly. There's no end ritual because it doesn't need one, because it's almost like the great grandfather of a family who's just like totally secure within himself. He's just there, you know. It's like, I know I'm old, but I'm also a bad bitch and I run this shit and I don't care what you say, you know. Anyway, I feel like the body is pretty body-like, if not slightly tubular. Maybe I'll later. So now we get to do the head. We're finally moving on.
On the first and last day of the Age of the Beholding, I begin my vigil into the doom of Danica Gelthor. She was, at the time of the change, 34 years of age, and found herself within my domain, travelling slowly and unremittingly along the length of the stretching corpse routes. She is one of many thousands, neither remarkable nor unique in her background or destination. She has spent the last 20 of those years acutely aware and in constant dread of a death she believed to be imminent. The earliest she can remember being certain that she was about to die was when, at the age of 15, due to a chronic case of acid reflux, she decided that she had a malignant intestinal tumor. She would spend whole nights lying awake, imagining it lurking there, growing,
Ow!
spreading,
I just stabbed myself.
blocking her organs and preparing to kill her. Danica knew the whole thing was ridiculous, of course, and did not visit a doctor about it, simply assuming it would be discovered when she finally collapsed. She diagnosed herself with a year to live, at most. At the age of 16, she contracted a case of acute gastroenteritis, which knotted her guts so severely that she had to have several scans taken by a buzzing hospital machine. Young Danica lay there on the hospital bed, waiting for the stern-faced doctor to come in and tell her what she already knew, that she had months, at most, to live. When they said no such thing, talking about her treatment for her decidedly non-fatal condition, an incredible sense of joy began to overtake her, a deep and profound relief. There was nothing there. She wasn't going to die. She was going to have a life. At least for the next 3 months, which was how long it took her to find a lump in her chest that she decided was fatal breast cancer. This one she did get checked out and was told in no uncertain terms that it was a harmless cyst. But she knew they'd missed something. Clearly the cyst had distracted them, causing them to miss the actual tumor. But she couldn't go back. No doubt she'd be dead within a year. 2 at most. And so it continued for the next 2 decades of her life. She started smoking at the age of 17, battling with the addiction her whole life, and not once was there a chesty cough that she did not decide was lung cancer. When she had her first panic attack at age 23, she was absolutely certain that she was having a stroke. Every dizzy spell was a sign of MS. Every achy leg was a fatal blood clot. She never feared an epidemic or a plague, and the thought of infection rarely troubled her because she knew that whatever was about to imminently kill her was going to rise up from deep inside her own body. For her whole life, as each milestone of adulthood passed, Danica never believed that she would live more than 2 years further. Every relationship was tinged with a melancholic guilt that she would leave them so soon. Every achievement overshadowed by the certainty she wouldn't be around to enjoy it for very much longer. Real health problems, her acid reflux, her blood pressure, were ignored because, well, they wouldn't matter for much longer, would they? When the change came and the fears oozed forth into our world, the end that laces through every fibre of my soul reached out and gave Danica to me. She had fed it well for so long, it was only right that she should be here. 4. Circumstances of the death. In exactly 13 stretches of the route on which Danica travels, a stretch being measured in the waves of nauseating terror that flow out of her with such rhythmic regularity, she will finally arrive at her destination. It will be a crowded place, a shopping mall or somewhere similar, though her feet will never leave the route that binds her. She will feel it first as a dull ache, a sensation not unlike being pinched, but in the inside of her leg. Her skin will prickle like a faint and shuddering electric current will passing through it, and she will absent-mindedly scratch at it, as though it were a simple itch that could be dismissed. She will know exactly what is happening, but after so many scares and false alarms and dismal morbid obsessions, she will not feel comfortable enough to sound any alarm or ask for anyone's help. She will simply stagger over to a bench that is nearby and find herself a seat to try and wait out whatever unpleasant sensations are washing over her, even though she is certain they will never leave her. It is, alas, the act of sitting down that dislodges the long-foreseen blood clot in her leg, formed when she took that long-distance coach trip. She should have known with her dreadful circulation that cramming herself into so little legroom would be the end of her. But she had dismissed such thoughts, waving them away as more paranoia. But the end knows there is no paranoia about your own demise, only that dim, plodding awareness of its constant approach. The clot, now broken, will travel up and through her. Danica will feel its passage all through her body.
I can't help but every time it's like a death fear statement, just think about Daniel Howe, which sounds horrible, but tell me I'm wrong. This sounds like something he would have said in a video, like before he actually came out as having depression, you know?
Aware of it, as every vein of the corpse root is aware of her and those just like her, walking along their all too brief span. She will begin to cough as it hits her lungs, her anxious dread and sense of doom bubbling up to fever pitch as the pink mucus bubbles up through her lips. She clutches her chest as if desperate to pull the knotted blood vessels out with her bare hands and looks wildly about. But the crowds that were there such a short time ago have vanished, and there is nobody to help her, nobody to see her collapse and call an ambulance. It is too late. It has always been too late. Danica Gelthorpe will try one last time to stand and instead collapse into a corner, mostly obscured by a large pot plant, and will not be discovered for almost half an hour, by which time any hope of saving her has long since passed. She remains conscious for several minutes after she falls, unable to move or speak or even think in any recognizable sense, but aware enough of what is happening to be grasped with the despair of a terror realized. And then, at last, she dies. Her last thoughts are certainty of the yawning well of nothingness that awaits her as consciousness slips away. Danica takes another step along the corpse route. 5. Coroner's concerns. I watch as with each motion, each laboured, reluctant movement along her path, Danica Gelthorpe is painfully and inescapably aware of what it is that lies at the end of it. She tries to move backwards, off to the side, any direction other than that unstoppable, inescapable, forwards. But her limbs seize up with the attempt. She tries to stay still, but can do so only with the most incredible of efforts. To eke out another few seconds of stasis sets every nerve in her body aflame with agony and effort, begging her to scream, despite her jaw being set in a frozen rictus of somber mourning. I see her relive the coming moment of her inevitable demise. Every inch along the route she moves, she sees another flash of what is to come, the sickening knowledge of where she is going, The sensation of travelling there through the movements of her own body, as much as those movements may be made under duress. No amount of protest or effort can travel any other way but towards the end. Sometimes, for some small variety, I will allow Danica to brush against another route, the final fate of someone she loves. She may see Maria lying in her hospital bed, monitors crowding her as the doctors struggle to get an IV into her wildly convulsing arm. She might have a flash of Bobby, fingers tightening around the rungs of the ladder as the rusted nails give way. She often sees Dennis's face as the knife slips eagerly between his ribs, even though he doesn't die for hours afterwards. And with each one, she knows her steps forward bring closer not only her own end, but all of theirs. Time walks forward with her, but she has not the strength to stop it. Her fate draws ever nearer, filling me with the joy of watchful fear, but also my own concerns. The matters of concern are as follows. A. When Danica Gelsthorpe reaches the end of her corpse route, she will die. This new world of fear reviles death as a release, but the coming end cannot exist without its reality. It is not a being of dangled promises and shifting torments. The certainty of death waits for all who travel the corpse routes, and that certainty will be delivered on, without hesitation or consideration of any other factors. B. This places a limit on the fear that can be generated from them, as their pool is necessarily finite and ultimately, however slowly, it will be exhausted. To be offset, this consideration will require the acquisition of victims from other domains as replacements, potentially inciting bad feeling between those domains. C. A metaphysical
That would be
horror of this new
unfortunate.
reality's divorce from
Little
the
bit of
traditional concept of
controversy
time and
amongst the.
one for which I have.
Why don't they just hold a conference to be like, look, once your war people have, died like 10 times and had to come back or whatever, give them to me so that they can actually die. I think that's a fair decision. The council needs to congregate to make these decisions.
Have no further explanation means that I do not believe new humans are being created or born.
Oh
The
dear.
souls trapped within this transformed world are the only ones that will ever be here. And the presence of the termination of all requires that, ultimately, that is what will happen. However slowly, the domains of death will be removing sufferers from a closed system. However many thousands of years may be experienced in the meantime, eventually, this world will be left barren and empty. D. When this happens, the great powers themselves will also fade and die, withering away into nothingness and releasing this reality from their grip. I do not know how I feel about this. 6. Actions that should be taken. None, even if such a fate could be avoided. As it comes closer and the other entities grow in their awareness of their own end, the grotesque ripples of their own impossible panic shall glut and feed my master, gorging it to the point where perhaps it will even surpass the Watcher in prominence. The others may take what actions they wish. They may plot and plan and tear themselves apart in an attempt to separate from the fate that they know they cannot escape. But they will fail. The currents of perception and reality may twist in whatever shapes they want. But none of them can ever render things truly eternal. And I shall help, ushering on this final blank emptiness. Perhaps once it might have horrified me, or given me some sense of pursuing the ultimate release of the world that you have damned. But I am too much of my patron now, and my feelings cannot help but reflect the shadows of anticipation that lurk within the grave. The end does not fear its own cessation, for it is the certainty and promise of all life, however strange, that it will one day finish, and that includes its own stark existence. It shall be the last, and when the universe is silent and still forever, it shall perhaps, in that impossible moment before it vanishes, finally be satisfied. 7. Your response. Please, John, do not interpret this report as a plea for mercy or a call to action. I would have offered it willingly, of course, but to do so is no longer an option. You cannot ask. You may only take. And so the scope of my domain is yours. Enter it and destroy me if you wish. I fear the annihilation you would gift me as little as I desire it. I am now, as the thing I feed, a fixed point that has neither the longing nor the ability to change its state of existence. I can do nothing to you, and you may walk the corpse routes in safety should you choose, though if you wish to confront me, you will have to seek me out. You know, of course, where I am, but know that even you, with all your power, cannot keep the world alive forever. All things end, and every step you take, whatever direction you may choose, only brings you closer to it. Report ends.
Damn.
A lot to think about. I feel... No. I don't want to destroy Oliver Banks. It wouldn't do any good. I know that, and he never asked for this any more than I did. I feel badly for those that exist in his domain. Of course I do, but at least their suffering will be over, eventually. I can't destroy everyone I cross paths with. No. If Oliver will not seek me out, then I will leave him be. The avatar of death shall live. Martin's going to be thrilled.
Damn, this felting really does take a fucking while, doesn't it? It's just not what I want yet. The shape is pretty firm. I just don't want him to be literally tubed, you know? Anyway, time for fire escape, I suppose. You know, it's actually not too bad on the wrists. My wrists feel pretty all right. You know, I'm not feeling the burn or anything, so that's good at least. And I've got a head going. Time to mix the two, I suppose. All right. Fire escape.
Episode 169. Fire escape.
Martin, still with me?
Jesus.
Some fears don't need to be intensified, only manifested.
Were you even going to be able to make it through all that?
It's amazing, eh? Deliberately so. People running, desperately struggling for fire escapes only to find them blocked. We won't get lost, though. I know the route.
Not really what I was getting at, John.
Go on.
Seriously? You don't... It's on fire, John. It's burning.
Oh, hi, Justin. I didn't see you. Hello.
On fire.
Yes.
Right. You are aware that traditionally wading into a flaming inferno is actually considered bad for your health.
Yes, Martin. It'll be fine.
All right. I just wanted to check. So, okay. We're planning to go through all this, so I'm guessing the fire can't actually burn us. Right? John? John? John?
It's complicated.
Well, if you want me to go in there with you, then I suggest you find a way to make it simple. Yes or no, can that fire hurt us?
Define hurt.
Will the fire feel hot to me?
Yes.
Will it cause me lots of pain if I touch it?
Yes, though not as much
Will it
as...
burn me alive and kill me dead?
No. It can't do us any permanent harm. Once we're out, we'll be fine.
You are aware that intense pain can do you loads of harm, even if there's no physical
Yes, I know,
injury.
okay? I'll take us to the parts that are more subdued. It goes in phases. Sometimes there are whole apartments that aren't actively on fire for hours.
How reassuring.
Well, it's the best I can do.
Yeah,
Sure there
goddamn,
isn't another
Martin.
way? Yeah, I know. The journey will be the journey, blah, blah, ominous, blah.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I know you wouldn't take us through if we didn't actually need to go through, so... What?
Well,
John, is there another way?
I mean, sort of. Maybe.
A turn. You took a hard turn after the roots back there. I knew that was a thing. Why are we here?
It's just... When you said...
John, why have you taken us here?
Jude Perry. This is where Jude Perry rules.
That's the one who burned your hand, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. I just assumed this would be... Who was that landlord guy?
Arthur Nolan. He's here. He has a part of it, but it's huge. Bigger than you could believe. There's
It's going to
so
be a
much
penguin,
fear.
Justin. I'm making a penguin.
But we're not going after him, are we?
No.
Do you like
You
my
said you were
penguin
on
thus far,
board.
Justin?
Was.
Thank
I
you.
It wouldn't hurt.
That we'd be safe.
I've never said.
I know, okay, I just... Look, I just don't want to get burned, all right? It's like my least favourite pain ever.
Is that a joke?
No, okay, I legitimately hate burns, right? They're awful, and they scar horribly, and it just makes me sick. I hate it. Hate it.
All right.
Oh.
If you really don't want to do this, we can go another way.
Really?
Really. My revenge... Let's just say you're more important.
Oh.
It's not just your revenge, though, is it? Destroying her... It would help all those people in there, wouldn't it?
Maybe it's... Like I said, I can't see the future. You wouldn't free them, if that's what you're asking. Free doesn't really exist in this place.
Apart from us.
I suppose, in a sense, though. How much of that is because we are trapped in our own quest?
Okay, let's not dive into another ontological debate right now. Not here.
Fair enough. So are we going in, or not?
You're asking me?
I should have told you before, so I leave the decision to you. You know my feelings on the matter.
I do?
Oh, right. I want revenge on Jude Perry. I want to smite her. Make her feel what all her victims have felt. But I'm not willing to force you to suffer for it.
Okay, so it's...
That's nice.
I have to choose, do I?
Or we could sit here.
No. No, I'm not going to choose. I don't think that's a fair decision to put on me. It's your revenge. Your choice, not mine.
Fine. We go in.
All right, then.
We'll be fine.
Just lead the way.
My baby Martin is so brave.
Home. Such a simple word. Home. Not house, not dwelling, not residence or address, not domicile or flat or lodging or abode or apartment or property or accommodation. Home. A structure of brick or wood or concrete or canvas. A box in which you pack yourself away when the long day is done. A book neatly closed and placed snugly on a shelf. There's no place like home. An Englishman's home is his castle. Home is where the heart is. And home is where that heart can be hurt most severely, because within that place of safety, the warm and welcoming embrace of the cramped and well-trod floors whose layout has ingrained itself into your soul, there you are most vulnerable. Your home is an extension of yourself as much as you will let it be, and the place and the people and the things that form it and fill it are as much a part of you as your blood, as your bile, as your tears. Perhaps you know the feeling that comes rushing over you when your home is compromised, invaded, corrupted. Perhaps a burglary gives lie to the promise of safety you took from a flimsy front door and a cheap lock. Maybe the dirt and grime builds up to such a degree that the stench begins to infect your soul, or an infestation of moths or ants or bedbugs stretches itself throughout the very structure of your home until it feels like your skin is squirming with them.
Yep.
You may even find yourself living with a hostile, toxic presence, be they family, friend, or stranger, that poisons your home, turning blessed relief and rest from the tribulations of the world into a choking fog of anxiety and fear.
We had someone
Such
like that
are
in
the
second year.
dangers of a rotten home. But how many truly control their home? How many have extended their soul into the walls of a place that exists only at the whim of those who would let them die in the street were it not for the gain that can be squeezed from them? A home you cannot control, that you cannot even be sure will exist with the turning of the seasons, where stability and peace, rot and calamity exist only at the behest of faceless names that lace themselves throughout labyrinthine paperwork, chaining you to the front of a truck whose motion you cannot control. Do you smell smoke? Do you smell the creeping ruin of a life, a stalking creature of unmaintained electricals, of cheap insulation, of cut corners and missing fire alarms and unenforced safety regulations? Do you see it creeping under the door to your bedroom as you sleep, the burning coals of its eyes regarding you in the supposed safety of your home, not indifferent, but hungry, eager to take everything from you, to burn down your life in any sense it can reach? Can you hear the crackling promise of kindled despair that it whispers into your uneasy, dreaming ear? Sabina senses it, feels it drawing near. How long has she lived here? How long have these cramped, dingy rooms in the back of this sprawling, run-down tenement been the place her heart calls home? She cannot recall, but long enough for her to grow into love for it, to cherish every rusted appliance, every crumbling piece of plasterboard, every flickering light bulb. Even as the widening cracks and spreading mold fill her heart with dread, they gently, slowly, inch by inch, approach the mildewed room where her parents lie sleeping. Sabina cannot picture their faces, but knows that should they wake to see the state of the place, their anger would be blistering. She sits there on the ratty, torn sofa, trying to bring herself to stand up, to do something about the place that is crumbling around her. But she is locked there by the sure knowledge that anything she touches could result in the complete loss of what small stability she has. She barely notices how hot her tears are becoming. Which sense is the first to warn her? What nerves are the first ones to fire the white-hot bolts of agonizing panic through Sabina's body? Does she smell it, the rising smoke? A slow and subtle scent, like someone's burned their toast, and is that hair? Does she hear it, the distant roaring, like the soft growl of a lion who never stops approaching, spotted with shrieks and screams that might just be her imagination? Does she see it? The glow of the flames, pulsing slow and steady, the dull orange of old street lights, but somehow strong enough to push through the cracks around the front door. Does she feel it? The rising, prickly heat, like she has sat too close to an electric radiator for too long, and her skin has begun to redden and blossom before the bars into thick beads of sweat.
Yummy.
Or does she taste it in the back of her throat? The sick, queasy terror that tells her she knows exactly what is coming, because it's all happened before. Once again, the handle of the front door begins to glow red hot, the metal bending and distorting as it melts. From the crack underneath, the fire drags itself forward, curling and caressing the rough coir of the mat that cheerily announced, "Welcome home." Its movements are flickering, rhythmic, almost hypnotic, and as her mind screams at her to stand, to run, to escape, she simply sits there, eyes locked on the dancing lights emerging around her front door. She smiles the same smile she did when she was a child, staring at the bonfire at camp, though every nerve in her body is alight with fear. Then the welcome mat ignites completely, in an instant turning from a gentle smoulder to a gout of flame, and whatever strange compulsion holds her in place snaps like a wire cable. She leaps to her feet and starts screaming, calling for help for her parents. She runs to the door to their room, but as she approaches, she can feel the heat already wafting out from behind it. She can hear them crying out in agony, begging for her to save them as their pain crescendos. She can smell the oily reek of charred skin as they call to her, "We're burning! We're burning! Oh, please, God, Sabina, we're burning!" She grabs the handle, ignoring the sizzling of her own flesh and pushing through the lancing needles of torment to force it down, trying to free her unseen parents. But the door latch never really aligned properly, you see. The landlord always said he was going to get it fixed, and it refuses to open. Sabina pounds helplessly on the smoking wood as the voices of her parents go quiet. Pushing down a grief that threatens to overwhelm her
That's
senses,
very intense.
she charges to the window, rushing to reach the old fire escape beyond. The window frame never really opened properly, you see. The landlord always said he was going to get it fixed. And it judders as she tries to force it open, freezing a few inches from the bottom. Sabina pushes all her might into it, but the glass cracks and shatters, peppering her with razor-sharp shards, cutting her face to ribbons. She stumbles, trying to climb through the jagged window regardless, and she can feel the cool iron of the fire escape, a moment of blessed relief that shines through her suffering. But the fire escape was always really rusty, you see. The landlord always said he was going to replace it. And at the first tiny bit of weight she puts upon it, she can feel the fastenings pop out of the old brick one by one, and her salvation tumbles away into the impossible distance below.
See, I don't have this issue because my place is super strict about fire stuff. And they literally forced me to, I think actually happened on stream. I had to take down my balcony cover because it wasn't fireproof.
Oh god, my throat hurts.
What floor was her flat on again? Surely it can't be this high. Falling back into the inferno that is now her home, Sabina dashes over to the laughably small fire extinguisher the landlord begrudgingly provided. It is sputtering and empty. She runs to the sink, to the tap that has always made that unpleasant grinding sound, and turning it unleashes only a slow trickle of a thick, dark, oozing substance that smells faintly of gas. Limping and desperate, she turns to see her furniture in flames. The bookshelves full of memories that she can't quite place but knows are precious to her curl and float away as ash. The photos on the wall of her family, whose faces seem indistinct but she knows that she loves, begin to blacken as the glass pops out of the frame. Her home is being eaten alive by this devouring desolation.
She's here.
Hello, Jude.
Holy shit.
Fancy seeing you both here. So what exactly do I owe the pleasure, the honor, of being graced by the great and powerful archivist, harbinger of this new world, and his family?
Actually, we came to see you.
What a treat.
I have a question for you. I've been wondering, did you know what you were doing
Excuse me?
when you burned me, marked me with? Did you know it would lead to all of this?
You came all this way just to ask that.
Answer the question.
If you want to know so badly, why don't you just reach into my head and pull it out?
Because I want to hear you say it. Willingly.
What difference does it make if
Just answer the damn question.
No, I had no idea.
So why did you do it?
Why do you think? Because I wanted to hurt you. Because you were annoying and I didn't like you. So I hurt you.
And if you hadn't,
But I didn't. Look, I don't care, okay? I don't. Breaking over the past like it matters, like it means anything. The past is dead, archivist. Ashes in the wind. We're here now. And that's it.
I suppose you're right.
So the real question is, what happens now?
John, no!
What's wrong? Scared of a little flame? Oh, you are, aren't you? Pathetic.
Screw you! Leave him alone.
You're not scared, though, are you? Archivist.
I can feel the pain of every person you have trapped here. My own isn't all that different.
Yeah, but you like seeing their pain, don't you? Their fear.
Yes.
You and that stupid eye. God, you make me sick, lording it over everybody like you own the place. You're just leeches. Voyeurs. Parasites of the real monster.
Enough.
She's so
Fine.
fucking arrogant.
Just messing around. Wouldn't want to keep you from your oh so special business, your holiness.
I wouldn't worry about that. I'm right where I want to be.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm here for you, Jude. To end you.
What? No. No way. You won. What would be the point of... You're bluffing.
You know I'm not. You're already afraid.
Oh, I see. I get it. You finally get a sniff of power, and the first thing you do is try to settle some old scores. Play the big man. Get off on some good old-fashioned petty revenge.
I'd have thought that was a mindset you would appreciate. Now feel it. All the terror and pain you've inflicted.
Oh, piss off. Look. Wait. Right. I'm sorry, okay? I shouldn't have burned your hand.
No, you shouldn't have.
Please don't kill me. I'm moaning about the eye. Who doesn't? Look, we've won. Both of us. And that's great. If I'd known what I still have marked you, yes, I would. I'm happy in this world. I belong here. And so do you. Listen. You are enjoying this, right? Of course you are. You want to use those powers of yours to hurt people. You want to murder everyone. You can't fight back, can you now? I can help you. Just die already! You're not better than me.
Oh, there she goes. It's smiting time.
It's over. She's gone.
The fires are still here. Doesn't look like much has changed.
No. I suppose not.
Let's just get out of here.
Oh, Martin, baby. Oh, Martin, baby boy. He sounded so like broken. Oh, poor boy. Right, well, this is what I've done so far. I honestly don't think I want to do any more right now of this. So the question is then, do I what do I do? What do I do? Let's have a think, shall we? I can either migrate to the floor, although my foot's kind of hurting, so I don't really want to do that. To do more pile stuff. I think I might end the stream. It's a little early, and I feel bad because I know that a lot of the gang was unable to make it because I did this earlier than usual. But I think, honestly, I just need to go have a cup of tea, maybe have a bath. I feel I've got that sickliness, you know, that unclean sweat from just existing. How the fuck do I retie this shit? Oh, thank you guys. Squishes all round. You guys are the best. And I think, you know, tomorrow I've got a meeting with some of the big guys from my what's it called? From my group, like scientist people. So maybe I just do a little bit of reading there, you know, so that I'm prepared, or at least I feel prepared. Like if I can find some research papers that I can just set to like read themselves to me, that would be ideal, because then I can just make some food, just chill out and do some work passively. There we go. I don't know how I'm going to get all this back in this box. Oh yes, I've got to put the needles away. And I can deal with the pile another time. I got to be nice to myself. But I've had a good time. I'm glad I came and streamed because I think it made me feel better. from where I was feeling, because I was feeling super like and useless. Whereas now I feel like at least a little bit I've, I don't know, woken up, if you will. So yeah, I think and I think it was nice to have a slightly longer stream than usual. Hang out, keep y'all company. But yeah, I'm a little bit daisy. I'm a little bit not here, and I feel like I'm not even really commenting on it. I'm just listening, which is great, but also, you know, I want to actually experience it a little bit more. So yeah, I think I shall end the stream here then. But whilst I am here, let's just edit the title. So what episode did we get to? 169. 169. There we go. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me and putting up with my slight delirium and my terrible throat. I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you next week. I don't know whether it'll be Saturday or Sunday. I'll give you more. I'll be less impulsive next week about when I stream. But hopefully I get to see you guys there. Thank you. Squishes all around. And goodbye. Bye, guys.